22 years ago, when Dave passed away, somebody approached me and asked me if I would like to say anything, and I said no. I just kind of freaked out, and I have kicked myself in the head all these years for not at least thanking everyone for coming so far, and all the love, the support, the friendship. It's been phenomenal. It's really what's gotten me through these last few weeks. But there are some people that I would especially like to thank, and so I want to do that now. Deborah, I love you so much, and I can't thank you enough for making my son so happy all these years. I hope we can stay very close as we are now. So thank you for everything that you've done. You have followed him to his jobs, for his treatments. You've always put him first, been very selfless in all of that, and I can't thank you enough. I love you. Karen, Sheriff, and the rest of the Sheriff family that put together a family reunion right before Tyler passed was phenomenal. He knew that everyone was there, and I know he felt the love and the blessings from you all. So thank you again for all of you coming together in Naples at that time. All the guys that flew in, his best buddies, and there's a couple that didn't make it at that particular time, but there were 4 of them that came in the night before Tyler passed away, and they were able to tell stories, and I know Tyler knew that they were there because he kept giving them a thumbs up, like he knew what they were saying to Adam, Ross, John, Kevin. It was phenomenal. What a way to end his life. It was great. On top of the Sheriff family there, my daughter Jamie was there. She and I were both at his bedside when he passed, and it was such a blessing that it went the way it did. I have to give a special thanks to Kevin and Suze Rice, wherever they are. Oh my gosh, they have been phenomenal. They were in Naples for about a month before Tyler passed away. Was so supportive of me, Deborah. And this slideshow is all due to them. So thank you so very much. Jamie, of course, his loving sister, wherever she is, has been a super support system to myself and Tyler as he was having all of his trials and errors. She would send him text messages on a daily basis for like 2 months of something to make him smile or laugh, think about things of the past, which usually was to humiliate me, but they enjoyed that. So that was okay, as long as he laughed, even if it was at my expense. But she's been very supportive. Jamie, I don't know where you are. Okay, thank you, sweetheart. And my Braylon girl, she's my little granddaughter over there. I love her so much. What a smile. And she brought so many smiles to Tyler's face, so thank you. Of course, all my family has been so supportive. The Zwissler family, Balo family, Sheriff, everybody. But Meg came in right after Tyler passed away and was with me for a whole week, which I don't know what I would have done without her. The Daltons and Ronnie have done a lot of food and gatherings the last couple days. Thank you so much for that. Jay, wherever you are, thank you for speaking at the funeral today. You're awesome. Really appreciate that. Adam, I know there's some other people that want to speak. That's why I wanted to do this real quick, because I know people are leaving, and I just wanted to make sure I could say thank you. Elizabeth, thank you for doing the reading. You did a fabulous job. Didn't see anything on your face anyway, by the way. And last but not least, my husband, Joe Balo, who's been so supportive. He was great with my kids after Dave died in every way he could, from homework to moving them to and from college, and then the last 3 years with Tyler's treatments and everything. He's just always been by my side and has been very helpful to me. So thank you. So thank you, everyone. Please enjoy. We have plenty of food and drink. We are here to celebrate Tyler's life. He was awesome. For 30 years, he gave us his best, and that's what this is all about. Cheers to Tyler, and thank you all so much. I know there's some people here that would like to say a few things or talk about Tyler and some stories, good, bad, or indifferent. At that time, anybody can come up and say anything at any time. So I know Ross was talking about Ross. There's Ross, all right. Thank you again.
All right, thank you everybody for coming, by the way. Tyler's obviously been really special in all of our lives, and I think it's amazing to see the outpouring of support of everyone coming here to kind of share this moment, celebrate his life. And Adam, obviously you did a great job with his eulogy, and there's a few other great Tyler stories that I'd like to share. So I thought I'd start with just how I met Tyler the first time I met him, which was actually going back to 4th grade. And I showed up for a basketball game at Our Lady Mount Carmel, for those of you who might remember it. And Tyler was on the opposing team. And I remember my whole team was together beforehand, and we kept saying, who is the man with the 5 o'clock shadow and full armpit hair in 4th grade? And I think we honestly decided to play his zone defense because no one wanted to guard him. And for those that know Tyler, know he makes these weird grunts, and he was scary. So that's how I met Tyler the first time. And obviously, from that moment, we became really good friends and grew really, really close. And there's another story I'd like to share very quickly. For those who might wonder, halfway through the story, I already cleared it with Ellen, and she was okay with me telling this one. But there was a party that we were, having in high school, and of course we ran out of alcohol, and so we decided someone's got to make a run to the liquor store, obviously. And I think Tyler actually had still been at work at this point. He was working at Carrabba's at the time, and so I had the worst fake ID anyone's ever seen, and they decided, hey, it'd be a great idea if you go. And so I said, okay, that's fine, but I'm bringing Tyler because he looks 45 and gives me street cred. And so we went in, and I remember telling him, and I said, hey, if it starts to look bad, because I'd already had a few drinks at that point, I was like, give me a signal and we'll just get out of there. And so I remember we go up, we're checking out, everything's going great, and the guy says, one last thing, let's just check this one in the book, referring to my ID. And I look at Tyler, who by this point had kind of migrated towards the door, and was full blown giving me like we gotta get out of here. And I decided I can't. He's got my picture and my money, and so we stuck around, and everything ended up fine. He said, "Okay, you guys just have to leave," and so we did. And I think it's funny, and obviously it's a great story to tell about Tyler. But what I think is really cool is he didn't leave, right? And I know he was always it was so important to him to obviously impress his mother and not get in any trouble, and so the fact that he just stuck it out there, because I know with every inch of his body he wanted to take off the ground. But I do think it really does kind of celebrate what kind of a friend he was, which was just a really caring and thoughtful person. And so I know we all share the same feelings of sadness and grief and feeling that he was gone far too soon. But I think what we as a group of friends have tried to focus on is really that we were lucky to have him for as long as we did, and to have him for 30 years. And that helps to kind of get over the feeling that he's not going to be there longer than he should. So thank you again to everybody for coming. I know there's others that want to share stories as well, but definitely take a moment to remember your good Tyler stories and have a toast for him. So thank you.
Well, I'm Jeff Klopfenstein. I'm Deborah's father. I just want to echo what Ellen said and thank everybody for coming out today and celebrating Tyler's life. Representing the Klopfenstein family, I just wanted to come up and say a few words. And thank everybody for coming out and sharing with you our memory of Tyler. Tyler was a very special son-in-law to our family, and we are blessed to have him be part of our family. Not only was he a wonderful husband to Deborah, but he was a very kind and giving member of our family, and I can tell you a lot of stories about his kind and benevolence. I can tell you stories when he worked with Lexmark. I was having trouble with my printer, and I told Tyler about it. A week later, a brand new Lexmark printer shows up at my doorstep. And I said, well, Tyler, this is great, but these printer cartridges are kind of expensive. The next week, a box full of printer cartridges. And I'm still using those printer cartridges. So. The funniest story I have to tell you about Tyler really goes back to when he was dating Deborah, and I have Deborah's permission to tell this story. Some of you may know the story. It's the famous furnace room story. Those of you who don't know the story will appreciate this. When Tyler and Deborah were dating, we kind of had a strict policy at our house that no kids were allowed in our house when we're gone. Of course, that rule went out the window many times. As many of you know, and you were at our house many more times than we even know. And so we're doing a lot of this na-na-na, but still, one time when we came home after being out, noticed that Deborah was downstairs watching a movie all by herself, and which we found odd. So BJ, being the intuitive, my wife BJ, being the intuitive mother that she is, went downstairs and said, so Deborah, what are you doing? It's 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock at night. You're down here all by yourself. Thanks. And Deborah says, "Oh, Mom, I'm watching a movie. It's boring. You'd hate it. Don't even waste your time. Go to bed. It's late." And he just said, "Oh, but Deborah, I love this movie. I think I'll watch it with you." And so they spent the next 2 hours watching this movie. And finally, it was almost 1 o'clock, midnight or so. And finally, she said, "Okay, Tyler, you can come out now." And poor Tyler had gone into the furnace room and curled up on a little rug by the furnace and had sat there the whole time waiting for us to go upstairs so he could make his rapid exit and be undeterred. That's the funniest story I can tell you about Tyler. But one thing I did admire always about Tyler is the fact that Tyler and Deborah really got to know each other more as friends when they were in junior high and high school. And they were in that group of Carmel friends that kind of just hung out and did all kinds of crazy things together. But it wasn't until maybe the junior year when they started really dating, and their relationship really blossomed from there. I found it amazing that Tyler went to UK and Deborah went to IU, and still their relationship flourished and grew even more, which I thought was amazing, being at separate universities. And then when Deborah graduated from college, she got her first job in Chicago with C.H. Robinson. And when you know it, Tyler's up there working for Lexmark, and they continued to build their relationship, and it grew and grew and grew. And then Tyler gets an assignment out in Bentonville, Arkansas, and with Lexmark to handle the Walmart account and others. And so Deborah decides that she's going to raise roots and go out there with him, which I thought was great. And her company loved her and put her in a position out there, so she kept her job out there. So they continue to do well. And I remember an unbelievable Thanksgiving when we had a great family reunion. They had a little one-bedroom apartment out in Bentonville, Arkansas, on the campus of University of Arkansas. And Tyler wanted us to have a Thanksgiving dinner at his place. And so our entire family, my other two daughters and us, we all congregated in this one-bedroom apartment, sleeping on blow-up mattresses, whatever, but had a great time. And then lo and behold, he gets a job at Ricard Benckiser in New Jersey. At the same time they're planning their wedding. I don't know how they pulled it off, but they planned this wedding while they were still in transition to New Jersey. Got married in Indianapolis in 2012, and then had a wonderful life in New York. You know, a lot of you have seen the pictures, and it's just, you know, I think that's one of the things that I'll remember most is the life they had together in New York. And although we miss Tyler, we can just celebrate the fact that he had such a rich life. He lived life with gusto, and he really loved his family. He loved his friends. He loved his wife. And I think we can all just take that and remember that friends, family, loved ones are what's important. But I wanted to again end by just saying thank you for all coming. Let's continue to have a good time today, and thank you. All right.
As most of you know, I'm Kevin. I went to high school with Tyler. Yeah, shh. So we went to high school together, and outside of basketball, our relationship continued to flourish in college. He went to Kentucky, I went to IU. A bit of a rivalry, but we kept it going. Post-college, we lived together for 2.5 years before he moved to Arkansas. And, you know, we really built a great relationship, and I mean, it was pretty obvious, just I think for one, how he talked about Deborah and how he talked about his mom. And, you know, I think that shows a lot about someone and how much they care about family. And it really shows how a person is, and, you know, there were two phrases or words Tyler always used. It was awesome, and it's all good in the hood. Everything was awesome. And, you know, anytime anyone else was having a tough time, Tyler always said, it's all good in the hood. So he was just such a positive, upbeat guy, always thinking about everyone else, and just a real true friend, and just an amazing son, husband, and just an overall great guy. I wanted to share a couple stories with you. My wife and I went to visit him in Florida, and we didn't arrive till 12:30 in the morning, so we wanted to take a cab. Tyler, this was probably a month and a half ago, and, you know, Tyler said, you know, I might not be able to make it, it's late, it's tired, obviously, you know, you stay home, go to bed. Deborah insisted, I'm picking you up. So my wife and I, Suzanne, said, okay, you can pick us up. We get to the airport, we land, and we walk outside, and Deborah and Tyler both get out of the car. And it was pretty special. We're putting our suitcases in the trunk, and I see Tyler fumbling around in the back seat, like, you know, I'm thinking, you know, did they make some space for us, or what's going on back there? And we get in, and there were 2 champagne glasses and a couple bottles of beers, and he and Deborah had written us a card that said, "Welcome to paradise." And it just really showed how, like, special both him and Deborah were, and for us it was just a really great moment. And also, while we were down there, we had the chance to visit him while he was in the hospital, and we were talking about dinner. And first thing, I'm a huge pizza guy. A lot of people know I love pizza. And we're talking about dinner, and Tyler right away looks at me and said, "Have you had pizza recently?" And I'm like, you know, yeah, I've had pizza. But he wanted details. What did you have? When did you have it? So I kind of panicked, and I was like, well, I guess it has been like 5 days. And so he immediately says, we're getting pizza for dinner. And he had spoken to Deborah leading up to this that he had wanted Carrabba's. He used to work at Carrabba's many years ago, and the girls were smart enough to think, why don't we get pizza for Carrabba's, and it makes everybody happy. So I think the point there was, like, he was always thinking about someone else. You know, his first thought was to take care of someone else rather than, like, the Carrabba's that leading up to that he had wanted for several days. And he knows I like pizza, and it's not about me, it's just him thinking about everybody else. I want to take care of other people, and that's what made him happy. And to be honest, right when we, you know, figured out what we were getting, he's looking for his wallet, like, how am I going to pay for this? How am I going to pay for this? And I was going to let him pay for it, because that's what truly made him happy. Like, he loves taking care of other people. So I was going to roll with that, and that's what we did. I've got one more story. This is kind of a funnier story, but at this point, Tyler the girls went to go pick up the food, and it was just Tyler and I, and he had to go to the bathroom, and Tyler was just using a little assistance. He was using a walker to go to the bathroom at this point, and he goes to the bathroom, and then he comes out a couple minutes later, And we lived together in Chicago, as I mentioned before, but I've always been kind of a germaphobe. And I think Tyler, this kind of rubbed off on Tyler because he comes out of the bathroom and he had ripped up a paper towel and put it on each of the handles of the walker and is walking out. And I was giving him a hard time, like, you're such a germaphobe. And he said, oh, I know. And I was like, you know, look who you're talking to. And it was just one of the funny stories, and, you know, a great memory for me, just being able to spend with Tyler and share those moments and being the great, loving, caring person that he was, and to Tyler.
I am Deborah's sister, Sarah. Love Tyler. I've known him since probably they met in high school, or younger than that. But anyways, my favorite part about Tyler is how much he loved my sister, and just like catching him staring at her, and it was just the most beautiful, awesome thing. And he always gave me a hard time because we would make fun of Deborah constantly. And I'm the talker of the family. I would never let her talk. I'd cut her off constantly, interrupt her. And Tyler, all the time, every trip, every time we're all together, he would pull me aside and say, you better lay off her. Let her talk. Let her talk. So he always had Deborah's best interest in heart, in number one, you know, when they were together. So, but that's what that love that he gave is just enormous. We're all very lucky. So that's my short and sweet story. So, but cheers to Tyler.